What's up? Is he working on some stuff? You know what's gonna suck? Now, I don't think this is a coincidence either. So recently, I saw posts about Roblox getting, like, weird and shit. And I'm like, I don't play Roblox, so, like, I don't have nothing to worry about, right? But to me, it seems like it's just a way to get this online safety act going, because apparently all these companies are connected to, like, some same company and shit. Like, if this gets passed, we're probably gonna have this, like, on the internet until it gets repealed. And then it's also gonna affect how you enact your own, like, free speech and shit. This is getting, like, too real. This is happening so fast. Like, all this shit's just happening way too fast. Like, pretty soon we're gonna be limited to what we can even look at online. And it's gonna fucking suck. Every bit of it will suck. And that's like the thing too, because then you're gonna be limited to what you can draw and everything, or even like limited to what you can do at some point. Like, I guess be prepared for some of your game purchases, like on Steam too, to get fucking revoked, or whole game companies getting collapsed for no reason because of these fucking laws that are gonna happen. Because no matter what we're saying, apparently it's probably just gonna happen anyways at this point, which it fucking sucks. From like the shit that I've been reading and stuff, not good. It has a huge amount of ramifications. I also noticed a thing with YouTube lately, where views are down for everybody, because they're changing how views are working. So that's crazy too. I need to grab my reference sheet and look at it. Because now we're going to be dealing with, like, this some random shit, and it's just going to suck. Like, I guess the internet's probably going to die for a little while until this shit gets changed. Or you're going to be, like, or it's going to be heavily restricted. Like, I think some accounts, like, if they're super old, they're just assumed to be old, like, assumed to be adults and stuff like that. But this shit is just very real, because, like, if we're in this situation, especially with all this online safety bullshit, then it's going to create this little issue to where, okay, well, now what? You know, after they implement everything, what's going to happen when there's a mass data breach? Because there's been data breaches in the past, and I hope this shit gets shot down on multiple fronts. A lot of the shit is just stupid. Not to mention Valve, which is a very successful company, is also have to deal with shitty ass payment processors because they want to deal with that shit. The payment processors are not only just now, you know, removing problematic, you know, content. Now it's getting to a point in the situation to where these payment processors are now starting to not take certain currencies, and it's becoming a bunch of shit. It's abuse at this point. Like, I'm not sure how, like, even Japan is fighting against the payment processors. I'm not sure how their online censorship goes. So I think Japan or China does have some sort of censorship laws. I'm not entirely certain, but their users are still able to like upload and do everything like that. So I'm not entirely certain on that, but it's just the shit I've been seeing lately. It's just fucking horrible. It's absolutely fucking horrible, because now it's going to set like a bad precedent, because like eventually you're going to have sites like, you know, Twitch come into it, have to deal with it, and then you're also going to have a bunch of people who are getting hit, false flagged. You're going to have like a bunch of government overreach with how they're implementing shit. It's fucking horrible. And the thing is, like, it's not just gonna stop at one thing. This is clearly snowballing so fast, because they want this shit to get passed all over the world. And I'm not really gonna say the name of the list, but I think a lot of these politicians who are trying to get this shit passed are probably on that list. Be fair. And they want to make sure that they're able to shut people up as soon as possible in order to prevent people from even speaking up about that shit. Which is honestly concerning. Because now we're having to deal with like a bunch of just random bullshit. Like, granted, yeah, maybe there should be some sort of things in place to help protect users that are not really supposed to be on sites like that, but thing is, there's already a thing called parental controls, and that shit already exists. But you know, these governments and these other, you know, private companies are acting like that shit doesn't exist. They're acting like, oh, you know, problematic content, try to get rid of it. And this is what happened to things on like OnlyFans. Like, it first starts at porn, and then it starts to go out from there to see how much they can like harvest as far as your data goes. And it could even go back as far as Microsoft, because Microsoft is part of this shit too, whenever they're doing the Copilot and recall, because they're able to save everything on their servers. And the way I see it is, if they're able to save your information on their servers, the government's also able to request that information just to snoop and see what you were doing. So it's definitely going to be setting a horrible fucking precedent. That's fucking stupid. You get like a certain style going, so I want to make sure I'm able to do things with this. Let's have some warm-ups, I guess. I don't know. There's certain things like I've been reading about and looking at. You know, people are trying, and you know, the thing is, like, I hope this shit doesn't get passed, or at least partially doesn't get passed, because like, holy shit, this is gonna create huge problems, like all over the internet. Like, the internet's no longer going to be this place to where it's like, oh, it's very, you know, the internet has a lot of this information that you could freely access, as well as like talk to people around the world and stuff. Eventually that's just going to go away for a little while, until somebody decides to appeal or get rid of that shit. And like, I don't talk about stuff like this all the time, but I very much advocate for the internet when it comes to like fucking common sense, which apparently none of these companies fucking have. Like, you can't fucking tell me and go and say, oh, you know, let's go ahead and enable all these online safety acts, especially in the UK right now, which is eventually just going to branch out everywhere else. Like, there's already going to be a horrible thing in Australia that's going to happen, and it's going to be bad in the US as well. Like, the only way that I can see it being good is if there is some sort of like extra law put into place that if any of these things get leaked, we just all get paid. Sorry, we leaked your data. Here's like $1,000 or some shit. Now go freeze your shit on TransUnion or something, or Equifax or some stuff, right? But I have a feeling it's just gonna be used to like shut people up. It's like the majority of the internet is mainly like, you know, free speech, talking about your mind about certain issues that normally need to get brought up. I can pretty much see that like they're gonna like get to the point where they're able to monitor people, even track them. I mean, they could probably track you down any time if they wanted to. But eventually they're gonna get to the point where they're able to monitor people even more so. And this isn't gonna be just, oh, it's for the kids and stuff. Like, it's not gonna be just for that. Not anymore. Like, that ship has sailed, and there's already been multiple things that have happened to even prove that it's not just that anymore. Like, that could have been, and that could have just been like a, you know, an FTC thing where they're like, oh, you know, if you have a child, you have to make sure that they don't access the internet like that, and then on the parents. But it's just like completely fucked. Like, when you're dealing with shit like this, especially in the scale this big, this is affecting everybody. Like, this is affecting the entirety of the internet. And eventually it's going to get to the parts to, like, you know, you're playing your games and stuff. Eventually it's going to hit your Steam library. We're going to start removing things from your Steam library. Despite Steam saying that you wouldn't lose anything, they might be able to just remove any game keys you received, any sort of games you've purchased at some point. It might even happen to stuff like GOG, like, you know, you can keep the installers, but then, you know, that could change too. So, like, you know, it's gonna put everything up in the air, and there's like a whole bunch of pressure on certain things in different places. There's at least a thing where there was an executive order recently for stuff like free access to banking for these companies, which is really good, because it's going to help places like Steam and, you know, itch.io and GOG not have to deal with like the bulk of the bullshit from the payment processors. But at the same time, there's everything else going on. Like, can you imagine logging into your Steam account? Are you 18 to play Stellar Blade and they have to fucking scan your face or put in your credit card information in order for you to even play the game? Not to mention you have to connect to de novo servers on top of that. Like, that's just fucked. That's completely fucked. None of what I'm talking about has to do with VTuber lore, obviously, but this is just like a real world fucking issue right now. It's affecting everybody. Like, oh, it's not gonna affect me, I got nothing to worry about. And some people are gonna be like, oh, I got nothing to hide. It's like, it's not about what you have to hide. It's not about how many skeletons you have in your closet, which hopefully you've kept good chance of your online carbon footprint anyways, because that's gonna be monitored even more now. Not just by, you know, corporations. It's gonna be monitored by, like, you know, the government. And especially in the UK, which would then force other sites to have their stuff being scanned, which fucking sucks, but it is what it is. So private messaging would be gone, which I think that would also extend to your phone. So nothing of what you said would be private. That means that the government can literally walk in and say, oh, we don't like this, and throw your ass in jail, or fine you a certain amount of money, or force you to delete certain things, like certain content or certain things that they don't like. Like, oh, if you don't delete this, we're just gonna arrest you and throw you in the jail. Like, what? Like, you know, with America, hopefully this doesn't happen, or hopefully it doesn't become as bad. I just know there's gonna be a certain, it's gonna get to a certain point to where it's gonna be like affected, and everybody's gonna be affected by it. It's absolutely ass. And the thing is, like, it's not only gonna be that, it's gonna be like people who are like not specifically like me, who, like, you know, 18 only people, but anybody who's 18 plus. And if Twitch is able to identify that, imagine having to watch a stream and then you have to scan your ID to watch the fucking stream. It's gonna kill streaming. It's going to definitely affect YouTube in some way. Now, sites like the Fediverse, like PeerTube and stuff like that, might end up either being forced to shut down by governments, in my opinion, or they just might not be affected at all, and they just get buried. where you're having issues trying to even pull them up because the government won't let you pull it up, and then it effectively just dies. So like it's gonna create issues if this continues to happen, because these whole set of problems are a domino effect that are waiting to happen. And right now we're almost at the halfway point, which is fucking scary, and it happens so fast within the matter of like a month. Probably a month and a half so far, right? But it's still happened in a matter of weeks, which is crazy to even think about. And it's just a very concerning thing, because eventually it's going to get to the certain point to where they're going to be like, you know what? We like Microsoft, we like Mac OS, we do not like Linux. We think Linux is for hackers. We think Linux gets around all these online safety measures. Unless you're an accredited Linux thing like Ubuntu or some sort of foundation, all the other OSs would probably get banned. That means you might be limited to like Ubuntu, Zorin OS, fucking Arch maybe, you know, like corporations or stuff like Pop OS, like, you know, backed by a company, Tuxedo OS. Like, you might be limited to just that at that point, which would still be bad, because then you'd, you know, not have that many OS choices, and it would fucking suck. But let's just hope that doesn't happen. But I can see it happening. Like with the rate we're going, I mean, they're just gonna try to ban everything. We don't like this, it's gone. Sorry, you liked it. I don't care. We're the government. We're these payment processors. We're whoever the fuck we want to be. If we don't like what we're seeing, this is gone. Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you, Subhuman. Thank you. But like, you know, if they don't like what they're seeing, then it's gonna create issues. And then it's going to create a bad precedent to where you're now having to watch what you're saying online, which honestly, to an extent, you should be watching what you're saying online anyways. But you're going to be even more cautious about it, because now you might not even be able to hold a full conversation with somebody. You might not be able to even express your opinion or distaste against something in certain like regions. You can't be like, oh, I hate the government. You'll probably get arrested if you say that, or some shit, or get fined. Oh, you're not allowed to hate the government. Like, that can happen. That already happens in the UK, I think, to an extent, if you say something really bad. But it's probably going to get even worse if things get even worse with that. Which can then like create these issues to where you're like, okay, now what the fuck can I do? And then I think it's also going to create another domino effect where it's going to force these streaming sites to go, you know what? ID verification isn't enough. We're now going to require you to purchase a license to stream on our site. Kind of like how Twitter does this, right? You're not like, quote unquote, purchasing a license, but you're purchasing their Twitter Blue to become verified. I can imagine Twitch being like, if you want to stream on Twitch, you have to have Twitch Prime and Twitch Turbo. If you want to stream on YouTube or put things on YouTube, you have to have YouTube Premium, right? What they should be doing, and this wouldn't be much of a stretch at all. What they should be doing is like, okay, if you're an adult, honestly, this probably wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, if you're an adult, you have to pay for Twitch Turbo. You can avoid uploading anything else but your card. Same thing with YouTube. Pay for Twitch Prime. You're automatically verified. You can watch whatever the fuck you want. At the very least, that's probably what they should be doing, because then it starts avoiding other issues, because then at that point it's YouTube just processing the payment to let you watch stuff on YouTube. Same thing with like other sites. Like for a while, before there were free porn sites, they made you put in credit cards for the longest fucking time. Like if you don't have a credit card, you just couldn't get on it. And then free porn sites started coming out, and then these politicians started getting scared. Then they started to sleep on a bunch of things. And now, since there's a whole bunch of controversy happening this year on multiple different fronts, since there was a lot of people who, you know, spoke out against things they didn't like, especially on the government side of things around the world, with multiple different things happening around the same time, or within the same year, or, you know, the same 2 years, then it gets to that point to where it's like, okay, right, what is the government trying to do now? Well, the government's just trying to get everybody else to shut the fuck up. They're like, oh, if you don't shut up and listen to what we're doing, we're going to make it even worse. We have people around the UN who've probably been talking to each other going, you know what, let's put the Online Safety Act everywhere. Which then will end up causing like the internet as a whole to sort of implode in a way. Like, yes, you could still use the internet, but imagine going on like a random wiki, right? A wiki site. It's like, it's not even like, it doesn't even have the full wiki domain, for example. It could get hacked if you upload your shit on there or some stuff. Like, they're even trying to get Wikipedia to force you to do ID verification. Like, I hope there's a shit ton of pushback with this, and I hope it gets shot down. Like, if Congress shoots this down, that'd be 100% the best thing you could do. Because they shot it down in 2024, they should just shoot it down again. It is a huge data privacy risk. And I hope a bunch of these tech companies that are not Microsoft, not in Nintendo, not like the huge, you know, publishing companies, which are actually lobbying for it, just fucking wild. Like Microsoft, PlayStation, Nintendo, they're all fucking doing it. Because there was a fucking list released of who was involved with a certain company that is advocating for it, which is fucked up. So now we're in the situation to where we have to deal with, oh yeah, you know, these companies we like to play games on and stuff. They're even it's gonna cause like the opposite thing to happen. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, online safety, yeah, protect the kids. On paper, that's fine. But how the government sees it, it's gonna be completely different. Because imagine you're wanting to go watch fucking, I don't know, some other person on, you know, on Twitch. They might have different settings enabled, and then you have to put in your ID, or you have to put in your credit card information to even watch it. Well, then that information is either held on the site owner's side of thing or through a third party. Reddit already has a thing to where it's put through a third party. So say you want to go on a certain subreddit, they require your ID. And, you know, I could possibly see where this could go wrong if somebody decides, you know, imagine they go on the wrong thing and they put their ID in and all of a sudden they're basically fucked. Or it gets to the point to where it's like, they are then getting monitored, getting sent ads, things that they don't want, you know, forced pop-ups, forced monitoring, which is then like a bunch of bullshit. And especially since this is also around the time Windows 11 is trying to force their Windows 10 users to go over to Windows 11, because Windows 11 has a more active version of Copilot and Recall, and a Copilot and Recall can take your information from your computer, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're watching, you know, whether it's like, you know, or no matter like what you're doing or what you're watching, right? They can upload that to their cloud, and then what can end up happening is the government can go, you're right, let's go ahead and take a look at Microsoft stuff, because we have total control due to the Online Safety Act, even though it's just a Trojan horse. You know, they can go to Microsoft and say, hey, we need to take a look at all your stuff. We don't need a subpoena where the government. Online Safety Act says we need to protect the kids. Let's go ahead and take a look at all your stuff in your servers that's supposed to be encrypted, but will not be encrypted because the government will take a look at it. And then they'll go, oh, we don't like this person. Let's find this person. Let's go to their house and let's fucking either scare the shit out of them, find a reason to arrest them, which in some cases it would be good, but in other cases it would be bad, because there's going to be cases where people are getting falsely arrested or falsely put in jail for a certain amount of time, or even falsely fined for things that they're probably not even responsible for. So like, you know, there are both pros and cons to this, but mostly it's just a bunch of cons. And now it's getting to the point to where, like, you know, people can, you know, email their politicians, call the politicians all they want. Well, a shit ton of these politicians already made up their fucking mind. And it's getting to the point where this is probably going to get passed as soon as possible, prematurely. Now, if there's a situation where this gets overturned and everything else returns back to normal, that's probably the best case scenario. But if it does pass and we have to deal with like a couple years of this shit, when election time comes around, go ahead and look up the list of all the politicians that voted for this and vote those fuckers out. And then you can get different politicians or different people to like actually fix the internet and fix the issues.
And dust begins to swarm all around.
Man. Which is like a frustrating thing. Because it sets false precedents like all over, and it affects every little single person. It affects sex workers, it affects people who are just streaming, trying to play your games. It affects even like people who are, you know, streaming every single day. Because, you know, some streamers, some big streamers have like audiences of all ages. And some things are going to end up happening to where it's like, okay, like, at what point is this going to be the parents' fault instead of the platform's fault? Because now, Roblox is in trouble, which honestly, Roblox was already headed down that path anyways, let's be honest. They were already headed down this fucking path. Roblox is in this situation where they're having a bunch of, like, people on there that are not doing very satisfactory things for their platform. And it's causing government intervention, which is then going to cause them to go, you know what? Maybe we're right about this Online Safety Act. Let's get this shit passed. Because look at Roblox. But then they're going to ignore the T-app. Because the T-app got hacked. And then the other T-app got hacked too. Because of shitty encryption. Because they were forced to do ID verification. And all that information got exposed. Now, if ID verification does get enacted a bunch or all over the internet, I would only suggest putting your information in, this is only in the event that this happens. I would only suggest putting the information on the sites you use daily. Now, I'm talking about anything but a porn site and anything but a unaccredited website that would cause problems. Because say you're going on Twitch, say you're going on Rumble, Kick, say you're going on the peer, well, I don't think PeerTube's gonna count, but yeah, YouTube, you know, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, Twitter, maybe Blue Sky, maybe Reddit, like a handful of sites you could probably put your stuff on there and be okay for a while until they have a data breach. But let's be honest, it's not gonna be okay at all. It's fucking stupid. It's a bunch of shit. What I hope happens, I hope tools end up getting developed to where it's like, you know what, this online safety shit's not even working. It's not even working. It's not preventing anything. Like, do I think certain companies need to be held accountable for certain people who go on there? Yes. Especially in this case with Roblox, because everybody fucking, I kind of knew it was kind of headed down that path anyways with, you know, when they're trying to implement dating on a kids game. Which is fucking weird. So, like, I kind of already see where that was headed. But at the same time, we're at this impasse to where we're having to deal with people who are not really internet, you know, they don't really care much for the internet culture. And it's gonna cause these problems to where now we're gonna have to deal with people, you know, they're wanting to stream, they're wanting to play their games, but they just can't play the games they bought, and they can't watch the things they want to watch in their free time, even if they're an adult. So, like, you know, outside of the obvious, you know, keep kids off the internet. Like, what they should do is they should do one of two things. And this is the only thing that fucking makes sense. And like, in a network security standpoint, this is the only thing that fucking makes sense. Either ban all children until they're the age of 16 on the internet. And then keep them on parental controls until they're 18. Right? You have to keep them on parental controls, maybe keep them, you know, keep them within 3 or 4 websites or some shit. Have it on parental controls, have it on a kid's version. And if you had to go to another site, you know, you have to get permission from your parent. They actually have to log in with their details or create an account to do that kind of shit for you. Or, you know, you don't do any of this ID verification, and you force every parent that has a device that lets their child get on it to have mandatory parental controls, because that is a much better option than having to deal with a bunch of other shit. So I even read something in a Twitter post where somebody was like, you know, you could use your phone as your verification. Because technically, you know, if you're paying a company for your phone, well, then that could be your online verification, and then that could basically be your two-factor authentication. They send you a text to verify it's a phone number, and then, you know, obviously, you know, they use what information they have to get it going. That's basically my take on that, because honestly, this whole online verification shit's just a bunch of shit. Like, for as long as I've been on the internet, this is just fucking garbage. And the thing is, we were so close to greatness on the internet. So fucking close. We were almost there, and then all of a sudden all this shit happens. It's out of fucking nowhere. And the thing is, like, this shit didn't even need to happen. That's the crazy part. None of this needed to happen. This is just all getting forced on us. Now, I'm not sure, like, how it's going to affect free speech in other areas, or being able to express your opinion, but I would like to assume the more common sense thing. And with this, I'm going to end up saying it's going to be more like, obviously, don't fucking say things that will get you in trouble, right? Things that you wouldn't say in public, don't say it on the internet. That's basically what's going to happen. And then it's going to get to the point to where it's like, okay, you know, if you do happen to say those things, I wouldn't be surprised if a police officer were able to track you down and then come to your doorstep. That is where we're headed. And it's fucking horrible. And it's a scary thing, too. Because then it's going to cause things like swatting to happen to people. And it's going to end up getting... And that's going to end up becoming more worse. Because then they're going to automatically assume things. So fucked. It's absolutely fucked. And, like, I don't talk about things like this that much. I just tend to read about it. But this is becoming, like, so much bigger than what I can, like, stay quiet about. Like, I'm not gonna stay quiet about something like this. Like, I've been, like, when net neutrality was a thing, I was fucking raising hell. I was calling my politicians, putting in petitions and shit like that, and eventually that shit got overturned. Because nobody fucking wanted it. Now there needs to be an even more of a push where people are like, nobody fucking wants this. What I hope happens, and this is the best case scenario, is that, you know, if it does happen to get to the president, he looks at it, he's like, you know what? I'm vetoing this. I don't like it. Sorry. He just tears his shit up and throws it out. Let's just hope that happens, because that is probably the best bet. Because, you know, right now it's only in an introductory phase, but eventually it's going to hit Congress, it's going to hit the Senate, and it's going to hit the president. If the president decides that they want to go ahead and sign it, there's nothing we could fucking do. If the president goes ahead and decides, you know what, I don't like where this is headed, it's affecting, you know, Americans' free speech, go ahead and redo this bill, you know, to where it doesn't affect the free speech and privacy. That'd be the best case scenario, but the chances of that happening are very slim to none. But I don't think it's going to be like an entire doom and gloom, right? Like, eventually it's going to become a normalized thing and people aren't going to talk about it as much. Right now people are talking about this a lot because it's an issue. But if this does happen to go through, well, then this might be what the internet's going to be for a while. And that's what people are going to have to deal with. Unfortunately, you know, unfortunately speaking. You just got to hope it doesn't get any worse than that, because, you know, then because we're having these governments currently looking into a bunch of things, and then it's going to create like a domino effect where, you know, a bunch of other things are going to happen. Like, you know, Nintendo just implemented video chat and voice chat for the Switch 2. Imagine that they have to, like, be forced to take that off. Like, oh yeah, to comply with the Internet Safety Act, Nintendo has decided to just remove communications, right? So you're gonna end up having, like, gimped things. You're gonna have gimped You're gonna have GIMP things like, you know, being unable to enjoy certain things. There might be some movies that might end up getting banned. Like, this is gonna end up destroying a bunch of media literacy online too. It's gonna like absolutely destroy the internet. And it's gonna suck. That's basically like how I'm seeing this shit. Now I could hope that this doesn't go ahead and destroy everything, because, you know, if we're getting to this point to where it's like, you know, this issue's very prominent, it's very much getting to that point to where people are just not gonna have it, then it might change. It might, people, you know, the government might go, you know what, never mind, bye-bye, you know, shit like that. But we don't know. That's the scary part. Only thing we could do is call these motherfuckers, ask them to change their fucking mind, or they'll be voted out. Which I can guarantee will happen, because if you know, when you start messing with people's rights or things people like, well, the mass majority of the internet, you know, tends to like to speak their mind. They don't like having their stuff like suppressed. And this is especially what happened with TikTok. TikTok was able to provide people all over the world with information. Government didn't like that. Government doesn't like people getting information and getting smart. They want you to stay dumb. They want you to be easily controlled. In order to, like, you know, for them to like cull the herd and go, you know, this is what it is. If you don't like what it is, then, you know, we have a place where we can put you, kind of deal. And that's basically like the issue. This is gonna just cause major privacy concerns. And this is going to be a downhill slope from there until somebody either stops the rock from falling, or until this completely destroys everything, or it starts making everything the shadow of its former self. Now, what I do think is going to happen is if sites do end up getting suppressed, they're not going to go away. They're still going to exist. It just might not be active until things change. That's basically my whole, like, that's basically how I'm, like, how I've at least read and looked into things on this kind of stuff, and what I'm predicting is going to happen, because it's just a bad fucking precedent to even begin with. Oh yeah, Kanaki, it's fucking horrible. Odyssey better, but nobody really there yet. Yeah, the thing is, yeah, people use Odyssey. Yeah. May you know what you're using the draw? I'm using Krita. I'm using Krita, and I'm using a Veek tablet, which is designed for Linux. It's a specific kind of tablet just for Linux. Oh, I should have looked at I didn't even look at Twitch chat. I'm so fucking stupid. You wanted to say a lot, but all you can say is that you left the country due to certain reasons. Said reasons got into countries you escaped. Starting to watch your mouth way more than they thought now. Was last dude to have to access the internet phone, so you use your friend's phone instead. People say if you did nothing wrong, you got nothing to hide, but they never understand that is considered to be wrong can change, can be used to be okay. The thing is, like, if you did nothing wrong, you did nothing to hide, well, at that point, do you have anything to say at that point? Because, you know, if you have nothing to hide, you know, you should also be able to speak up for others who cannot, even if they do have things to hide. Long-term people will have a very warped sense of morality and saying that in my country, here goes apologize. Yeah, and the thing is, like, a week ago, Americans, not me, because I would never fucking do this, Americans were making fun of people in UK going, haha, you're not going to be able to get internet the way we have it. And then all of a sudden people are like pointing out like, no, dumbass, it's going to happen to you too. It's already happened to Australia. It's fucking shit. I should probably be looking at my references on the other screen, honestly. But that's basically where we're headed with a bunch of this shit. It's just so fucking bad. Like, this is not gonna get any better. I just hope, like, we get to this point to where we're not getting suppressed by the information we're sending out. What I do think is gonna happen, and this is gonna be like incredible, Mastodon incidents. Yo, Guy Creates, what's up? Thank you for the raid.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yo, what is up? Hello. How you been? Thank you for bringing your people over. I'm Kalaneko, LaKoy Cat VTuber. I use Linux on basically everything. I'm currently drawing things because I'm thinking, you know, I'm talking about the whole this internet discourse, and I'm also drawing things to try to figure out what my lore is going to be, as well as, you know, give myself some good practice for whenever I do decide to animate stuff. Because there's an animation program on Linux I can use. But yo, thank you for the raid. I do appreciate it. Yeah, you are the guy. Yeah. Got the fire. Fucking hilarious. But yeah, I just hope this is gonna, like, I hope all this shit is gonna backfire on some people. I hope it gets to the point to where it's like, literally just saw the stream in your following list and was like, hell yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do a bunch of, like, I do drawing streams sometimes. I was trying to speedrun Mega Man X last night. I just wasn't feeling it. I think the night prior to that I was playing RuneScape. Like, I do a lot of things. Mega Man X rocks. Hell yeah, yes it does. I speedrun that game sometimes. I need to speedrun it more though. Yo, what's up? You're an artist, but unfortunately draws something considered controversial. A thing that you do enjoy, you're hurting no one in process. If one day you get in trouble with the authorities, you remember the other artists had the same thing happen to them, where a badge of honor. Because yeah, I mean it really just depends on what you want to draw. Like for me, I'm just like I don't draw things that would get me in trouble. I'm just gonna say that. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Now I will draw a woman's body shape. I have done that before, even like when I was in high school, because there was nothing stopping me from doing that. But like I don't think I would draw things that would be controversial, at least to my understanding. But to be fair, like when you're drawing something, it's based on what's being interpreted. That's how art works. It's based on interpretation. So anybody could say like, oh, I don't like this, this is offensive, I don't like this. Like they could say that. This is based on preference. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, if you're drawing and it's not hurting anything, I don't think it's gonna be a bad issue, honestly. I did see a bunch of VTuber discourse. I'm probably just not gonna say specific things about it, but it was definitely fucking stupid. It just kind of made me wonder, like, some people that I do follow, like, why are you getting in this discourse? Get the fuck out of it. It's not even worth it. Just I just kind of wish if more creators just didn't get in this drama bubble. Like, I get, like, there are creators that do benefit from the drama bubble. Don't get me wrong, but the more people who are, like, you know, sort of hobbyists kind of like get into this drama, and it's kind of open up the door for people to attack you, and it's not good. It's like not a good thing at all. Like you don't want that to happen to anybody. You just kind of like want to do your own thing. Now granted, there are going to be people who are going to attack you anyways, because I knew this firsthand because people did that shit to me. I was just minding my own fucking business, and people just fucking came in the chat and started saying some shit, and I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, you know. Absolute shit, you know. It's just fucking crazy. the certain NSFEs cost you some friendships, but if you stop drawing, you'll go crazy. I would say maybe like be careful where you share that kind of stuff. I don't know what that is. I don't think I want to know what it is either, but I'd be very careful with that kind of stuff because the internet culture is literally changing before our eyes.
How do you get there?
Yeah. Yeah, I would just be like, I'd be very careful. Like, I don't know you all that well, but I would say, like, be very careful with what you're drawing because internet culture is changing. People are changing how they are seeing things because people's perceptions change in a lot of things as well. Like, eventually that stuff, you know,